My name is Jenny Cortez. I am a fourth year at UC Berkeley, and I'm studying ethnic studies with a minor in education. I'm from Oakland, and I went to high school in Deep East Oakland at a charter school, which I don't really support charter schools, but I still went there. It's called Lionel Wilson College Preparatory Academy. So I went to high school about a 1 minute drive from my house. And the reason I went there was because my parents don't really believe, well, didn't really believe that the Oakland education system would be able to support us through public education. So they thought that one charter school would be a better route because a lot of people were talking about how great the education was. But again, as my parents are immigrants into the United States, this is their first time, like, really like being involved in what the education system means here. They kind of like were believing what people were saying. The actual school that I would have had to gone to is one of the schools that is considered one of the worst schools in Oakland. So that's part of the major reason why my parents opted for charter school. So my high school was actually predominantly Latinx. I think there is like a very few handful of Black students in my class. I think there's only like one Asian student in like the early 2000s. They ended up expelling a lot of students or asking students to drop out, and the majority of these students they were like Black students and like also like a lot of Latinos, but like predominantly Black, which ended up meaning that the Black student population at the school really dwindled, which obviously has impacts in like what the school looks like now. The school community is not representative of the actual community that we're in. I would say the like percentage of my neighborhood is pretty much like, I would say like 40 to 60, like 40% Black, like 60% Latinx. And like that really isn't shown through in the school. When you go over to the school that's like right next door that I told you all about, that school is going to be predominantly like really representative of what the neighborhood looks like. So the charter school really tried to make sure that their numbers were high, and like a lot of this meant that like the students who were failing didn't get the support they needed. They were just asked to like transfer out, drop out, and like sign off that they were okay to like not continue going to school there, which really impacted the school and its dynamics for the years to come and when I was a student there. So I have learned about school segregation. School segregation is essentially when students are going to be, I would essentially kind of compare it to tracking, that you're going to be separated depending on either like who you are, what background you have, what's your racial background, what is your like academic previous experience, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of this does always end up having to do with race. Race is very like closely intertwined with everything in the educational system, and it actually still is happening today. I do think a lot of this still happens because of racial dynamics, and also with racial dynamics comes like economic status, right? So all of this economic status is going to be poured into like one academy versus another, and like making sure like these people with like higher social classes know how important education is. So obviously they're going to be like, one, they're going to be pouring money into these programs, but two, they're also going to be there supporting, like trying to advocate for their student, right? While you have like these students in the same academic setting whose parents are probably like, this is their first time in the United States, also don't know what it really means to have a good education system, are going to be working 2 full-time jobs to be able to like support their family, right? So they're just like, wow, like, my kid made it, they're at this high school in the United States, I never had the opportunity to do that. So just thinking about how like parents, different social classes, and their own background is really going to impact the way that the education system is going to work. I think diversity is one of the most important things in an educational setting. I don't really think that you could go into an educational career, an educational background, and really make sure that you're understanding what the problems are in that community. So I think having diversity in school settings would really support students in being able to have these conversations a lot younger in life, and really hopefully like reduce and like unlearn the anti-Blackness and like other racist and microaggressive actions that are going on like within these people's head. Because it's really sad, but a lot of the times like we grow up hearing like microaggressive comments and we internalize them, that we never really realized that they were microaggressive and how they could negatively impact one another.